We're doing this for your protection.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 29th, 2021. This is episode 293, and today, Wall Street Jewish space lasers. Nothing to see here, folks, but my name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And for those of you who are here live with us, just an answer to Basil's pre-stream talk about vaccinating yourself against something. I wasn't quite sure what you were talking about.
Against missing the show.
Okay, all right.
Yes, the only way to vaccinate yourself against missing a live show is to follow us on multiple platforms. You must do it. Biden commands.
Okay. Just a weird analogy to throw out there.
I'm just trying to let the elites know that I'm ready for that paycheck.
Yeah, just demonetize. Well, we're already demonetized here on YouTube and everything, but just get their attention right from the pre-stream.
Yeah,
but at least
perfecto.
At least if they isolate the phrase "get the vaccine" or "get vaccinated," they might think.
That's what I'm saying. I'm protecting us by using pro-vaccination language. Do not ban us, YouTube. Get the vaccinate yourself, folks, from missing another show. All right, let's keep moving. I see some people mentioning that I sound a little different. Maybe I'm sick, something like that. I'm not sick. Don't worry. It's kind of weird, though. I got a little bit of a toothache today, which is worrying me.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not a common thing that I've experienced. And so if I sound a little distracted, a little bit in pain, pray for my tooth. What's going on?
It's not really your tooth. It's more your gums that has the pain receptors.
How do you know what's going on in my mouth?
My father is a dental technician.
Oh my gosh. Get him on the line. Let me talk to him.
He'll stick metal things in your mouth and look for what's wrong.
I know. Well, that's the worst part about having a toothache is having to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
It's like, how long can I withstand this pain without having to go to a dentist? It's not a very good way to think about it, but it's the truth.
Are dentists like the worst place that you can be for the Rona season? You're
That's a great
sitting
question.
There with your mouth open in front of a dentist.
Or doctors very close to your face, and we already know the masks aren't going to help.
They're going to walk in those suits, full body suits, the nuclear, whatever they're called. I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're referring to. It's so vague.
You know what I'm referring to? Hazmat suits.
Idea.
Hazmat suits. Yeah.
Your dentist wears a hazmat suit?
No, but I haven't been to the dentist
wears
in a while.
Dirty overalls.
I don't know where you're going to get your teeth fixed.
And a greasy flannel shirt.
Back alley dentists are no good.
Yeah, it's my bunker dentist.
Real quick, before we get started, just a note. We are, for those of you who are here live and who try to catch the show live, we're going to start earlier, starting in February, which is next Monday. As of this recording, we're going to try to do it in the morning on the West Coast here, or at least where I'm at. So just a heads up, the live stream will begin earlier. Some of you guys may not like that, but either way, you can still catch the show. So
I'm not going to like it.
I know
I'm dealing with it, folks. If I can do it, you can do it.
The most affected person by all of this is you, Basil. It's not really even our audience. It's just you.
It's going to be a whole new world.
And also just a reminder.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
That's right. Please hit the like button if you're here early. Getting those likes up harnesses the power of the algorithms to help share the show with somebody who may not have heard it before. So there you go. You can play an active role in waking people up by liking the video. Okay. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we get going?
Yes, there's a video here I'm playing on screen. Have you ever seen birds play basketball?
No.
Well, there's video of birds playing basketball. It's pretty remarkable, especially if birds aren't real.
Okay, so there's a hand that threw a ping pong ball to a bunch of birds. Oh, yep. And they pick it up and put it in a tiny little hoop.
There's two
hoops. Oh my gosh. It's adorable.
Oh, they take the ball away from each other and then they go to the other hoop. It's remarkable.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birds play basketball, folks. This is
wow. I love how we're broadening our horizons with this show, you know? It's not just about observing the lizard people and debunking the different mainstream conspiracy theories, but it's also about watching birds play basketball, squirrels wield knives, and robots.
Well, we have to make sure the animals are ready for the New World Order takeover as well. They're just as, there are counterparts in many ways.
Yes, we've talked about how our show, I can't believe our show has people who actually watch it or listen to it, because it's just the nichiest of the niche of possible categories that we could do a show on. So I like how we're really getting that mainstream appeal with the bird basketball.
Yeah. Just any bird lovers, share this with bird lovers. This whole episode, canary cry, news talk, and also birds playing basketball at the beginning. It all just kind of fits. But
just to destroy any mainstream appeal that we could possibly have after the birds playing basketball, let's talk about Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, if you're new to the show, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a proxy conversation to explore how robotics and AI are taking over the world, and there's nothing we can do about it. This is a job watch, career watch for you kids out there. This is coming from core77.com, and the headline is Truck-Mounted Robot Arm Builds Structures Straight from CAD File. That's right. We might have a little bit of technical language, but first of all, Flippy is attached to a truck, so he's even more mobile than before. The headline reads like this: an Australian company called Fastbrick Robotics. Fastbrick.
And you're not reading the headline there, you're reading the story now, right?
Now I'm reading the story.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Fastbrick Robotics has invented what may be an architect's wildest fantasy, the ability to go from a CAD file to a standing structure with no chance for those pesky human workers to muck up their design. The company's Fastbrick wall system uses the Hadrian X, a gigantic truck-mounted robot arm, to precisely lay specifically designed cinder blocks adhered to one another with industrial adhesive rather than mortar. Then there's a lot of pictures here. This might be the biggest Flippy we've ever seen since the Canada 2 arm getting attached to the International Space Station, allegedly. Yeah. Good job, Canada. So yes, this is a giant robot arm, and it builds the walls of the house in one day, maintain accuracy over distance, safer working environments, moving towards zero waste construction, significant cost savings. As for putting bricklayers out of work, the company writes, quote, Hadrian X and its underlying technology signals the next evolution for bricklayers. It enables them to transition away from laborious, unsafe, and physically demanding tasks and move into smarter, safer roles that offer a physically sustainable career path. So this is to help the bricklayers, Gons, not put them out of business, for all you kids planning to become bricklayers out there.
Yeah. And CAD stands for computer-aided design, for anybody wondering. It's usually the 3D models and stuff that you have in computers. But yeah, I find it very fascinating. The video that they have here has a sped-up version of the arm making the brick structure there. And it reminds me of Minecraft, like in real life almost, where it's just brick by brick, you're making this thing. And also, I wish this thing was invented like 4 years ago, because can you imagine Trump unleashing this thing when he built the wall? I'm going to build the wall, the greatest wall, and then like an army of these Hadrian X.
Hadrian X, yes, with
roll
big
out.
Wigs on them, some Trump hair on these.
Some Trump wigs to roll out with the arms and start building the wall.
Yeah, this thing's pretty impressive to watch.
It is.
Yeah, especially with the sped up version. I mean, yeah, it can build. Now, here's the thing. Here in the U.S., not a whole lot of houses are built with bricks or cinder blocks. It's mostly wood for the, as far as framing and the majority of the construction is. So I don't know why that is. I really don't know much about construction or about bricks, but it's very rare you see a house getting built out of cinder blocks in the U.S., but this might change everything. It's all part of the Great Reset, Guns.
Well, also, if you, I think bitumen, mortar, those are things mentioned in the building of the Tower of Babel. Brick. Brick and stuff to keep it together. So,
oh yeah. Well, there we go. We all knew Flippy was going to try to ascend to apotheosis someday, and he's getting one step closer. So there you go. Very interesting. Again, of course, construction workers have not been safe from the Flippy revolution as far as jobs that are at stake, and that just continues. I don't know. Depending on how much cheaper this is, this might be a good idea for our, desert commune, the Canary Cry commune we're going to start. But other than that, I don't know.
Well, the one thing I do like about this is that it's not just taking away jobs from construction workers, but masons too.
Oh, yeah.
Replace the Masons.
Flippy will become the Freemasons.
I know. Can you? Yeah,
wow.
It's pretty wild. It's hadn't thought about that, huh?
Yeah.
So there you go. I thought
there
it was this one was. I was pumped about this story actually. This Flippy, because it is.
Why?
It does look like the granddaddy of all Flippies. Just the arm is humongous.
Oh yeah, it's big.
I don't know how the truck even stays down.
Well, it's got a bunch of bricks in it.
Oh yeah, I guess. But does it start tipping over as soon as the bricks start
unloading?
That's
how you know Flippy's done. The truck flips over because there's no more bricks.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Flippy update.
Okay.
Hadrian X. Look out for that.
Sorry, bricklayers.
Yep. And let's go on to the hashtag Jewish space lasers.
Woo!
And this was Newsweek.com. Pronounce the name for me, Basil, before I embarrass myself again.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie.
The official Q senator.
I still want to say
senator or representative.
Yeah. I still want to say Majority. I don't know why.
House representative.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's Jewish space laser conspiracy met with derision jokes.
No kidding.
Yeah. And I like how did
she really talk about this? What is this? I did not see this.
She did, but it not specific. She didn't say. I don't think she mentioned Jewish space lasers, although it is trending all over Twitter.
Jewish space lasers were implied.
I guess yes. The way the normies would interpret what she said.
What did she say? Tell me the story.
House Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene has faced criticism and ridicule for posting a wide-ranging conspiracy theory tinged with anti-Semitic tropes, leading to the hashtag Jewish space lasers hashtag trending on Twitter. Georgia Rep. Greene has on several occasions drawn criticism for espousing inflammatory views on race, promoting QAnon conspiracy theories, and inciting hatred on rival lawmakers, which, by the way, a lot of people were telling us how in our last broadcast, we had the QAnon Wikipedia link underneath the video. YouTube slapped us with fact check these guys.
That's weird. Did we even mention Q?
We might have, but
I'm sure we did. But did we mention it? How do they know? Do they scan?
I don't know.
Do we have YouTube mods watching us right now?
Yeah, probably.
Hi, YouTube mods.
QAnon peddles the unfounded
Vaccinate
conspiracy.
yourself, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. QAnon peddles the unfounded conspiracy theory that former U.S. President Donald Trump is waging a secret war against elite Satan-worshipping pedophiles in government, business, and the media. Media Matters on Thursday revealed one of Green's old Facebook posts from 2018, where she made several baseless claims about the cause of California's wildfires. She simultaneously implied that the fires could have been started deliberately or accidentally by a solar power generating satellite. But either way, the fires were conveniently along the route of the planned California high-speed rail project.
Yeah,
I remember
that was very convenient.
It was convenient. Yeah, I remember talking about it. In the post, which has now been deleted, Green implied that the Rothschilds, a wealthy Jewish banking family frequently referred to in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, or just any conspiracy fact.
Why is it? I don't get it. They just add anti-Semitic into the what? Jewish space lasers. What?
PG&E Gas, or Pacific Gas and Electric, space solar power companies SolarEn, and California officials all had a hand in profiting from the fires. She specifically mentioned Roger Kimmel on the PG&E board, U.S. Senator for California Dianne Feinstein, her husband Richard Bloom, former California Governor Jerry Brown, and Michael Peavy, who is on the board of SolarEn. Quote,
I believe it's Solarin.
Okay, whatever. Quote, SolarEn. Quote, then oddly, there have been all these people who have said they saw what looked like lasers or blue beams of light causing the fires, and pictures and videos, Green continued on Facebook. Quote, I don't know anything about that, but I do find it really curious that PG&E's partnership with SolarEn on space generators starting in 2009. They announced the launch into space in March 2018 and maybe even put them up before that. So, I mean, there you go. It sounds like your typical Canary Cry News Talk listener just kind of speculating on certain aspects, connecting some dots or
directed
whatever.
Energy weapons in the California fires.
Yeah, so there's nothing too crazy about it. SolarEn was planning to launch for PG&E in 2016, but this never came to fruition, Wired reported in 2019. Green suggested that if laser beams caused the fires, it could have been a mistake by SolarEn when it was trying to transmit the sun's energy back to Earth. Quote, that wouldn't look so good for PG&E, Rothschild Inc., SolarEn, or Jerry Brown, who sure does seem fond of PG&E. Good thing for SolarEn that Michael Peavy is on their board, since he is former president of California Public Utilities Commission, California's most powerful energy. I think that's probably just a typo that she wrote that they kept in here. ENERGEY for energy regulatory agency. Great connections right there, she wrote. Following the news of her outburst, the Jewish laser beam began trending on Twitter as many people on the platform ridiculed Green's comments. Mark E. Elias, founder Democracy Docket, a platform for progressive advocacy and information about voting rights, said, quote, whoever borrowed my secret Jewish space laser, please return it. I need it for something tomorrow. Oh, funny guy.
Having fun.
Brian Schatz, U.S. Senator for Hawaii, also commented on Green's conspiracy theories. Quote, a member of Congress thinks there's a Jewish laser beam to clear space or something for high-speed rail on a Sunday. TV pundits will ask Democrats why they can't find middle ground on COVID relief. All of these otherwise smart people will pretend not to know the answer, he said. That sounded ranty. Responding to him, prominent Jewish academic and writer Norman Ornstein said, quote, I think it's time to start a Jewish laser beam caucus in Congress. It will not be difficult to get a minion. It just goes through. But
I'm not really following the Jewish part of what she's saying.
It's the Rothschild.
Because there is Jewish people who own companies?
No, Rothschild. That's the only.
Oh,
that's the only bridge to the Jewish.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay, yeah, because saying anything about the Rothschilds is anti-Semitic.
Apparently.
Got it.
Comedian Randy Rainbow wrote, Jewish space laser was a theme of my bar mitzvah party.
Fun.
And it goes on here and just lays out all the funny jokes that people have said.
The problem is I don't even that was a weird. It is a weird theory of hers that it was an accident from a solar power generating satellite that then beams the energy down to Earth to be harvested. That's pretty weird. I mean, even for the direct energy weapons, which are not conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
We've read mainstream stories about direct energy weapons being used in different hot zones. So yeah, she's not even referring to them as weapons. It was like it gathers the solar energy and shoots a beam of solar energy down to be collected for PG&E purposes, which is just, I mean, that is a pretty silly theory.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, it doesn't really, I don't know, garner the criticism of this, or not criticism, but just sort of the trend, Jewish space lasers being. It is. I guess it's effect. It's an after effect. You take something
from a long time ago and you change all the words, and you exacerbate the reality of it because you don't like her because she's a Republican and because she's the Q representative in the government. So it's all part of the schmear campaign.
It is, and it's interesting because she is sort of the remnant Trumper kind of feel, the remnant fringe Trumper in government. And so they're all just piling on. And it's very interesting to watch. But I mean, I guess it's the other part of this is why all the jokes, it's like it's easy to joke about, but also doesn't that sort of.
Well, that's kind of the funny irony of this whole thing is to, before January or after January 6th, especially, Q was no laughing matter. And these were not just the Viking man with the horns, the Q shaman. He's not a joke. This isn't a joke. This is terrorism. And this is destroying our democracy. And it's interesting now that they are taking a more lighthearted, humorous approach about it.
Yeah. And dismissing any factual realities about directed energy weapons or rods from God or any kind of technology that you look at the Star Wars program from the 80s with Reagan. I mean, he was talking about putting space lasers in space that take out missiles and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just a weird misdirect that I guess kills two basketball playing birds with one stone. Where it's on one hand you get to poo-poo the Republican in office, and also at the same time dismiss a factual topic of directed energy weapons.
Technology, make the technology sound silly. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think thinking that it was a energy collection system that beams energy down to a PG&E station is a little silly, but directed energy weapons are not silly. They're very serious business. Mm-hmm. Hot topic, if you will.
I get it. Good stuff. These people can't handle the truth. All right, so that's the big Jewish space lasers story, and we'll bring it up whenever it seems relevant.
Whenever it seems relevant.
But in the last few days, the big story has been GameStop. This is CNN.com. Do you want to go through this real quick?
I do. This was very fun. And the saga continues. So, unless you literally live under a rock and you don't have Wi-Fi there, you've heard of the GameStop extravaganza. But let's just get a little bit of a rundown. From our favorite news outlet, CNN.com.
CNN Business, no less.
Yes, this is from CNN Business. Inside the Reddit army that's crushing Wall Street. Omar couldn't believe what was happening. He should have been concentrating on the student he was tutoring in physics, a job he did during his free time while enrolled in a post-baccalaureate pre-med program. But Omar's eyes kept darting back to the Robinhood app open on his phone. Omar had invested $6,000 in Beyond Meat options in the days before that tutoring session. He'd seen the value of that investment rocket up to almost $15,000. What he was witnessing now, though, felt like torture. Down 2,000, down 3,000. By lunchtime, the stock options Omar had bought were down around 7,000 from their peak. Omar knew he should probably sell the options before they came worthless, but he followed the mantra of the place where he had first learned about options trading, the subreddit r Wall Street Bets, and held on. Quote, "It was diamond hands," said Omar, using the site's term for holding an option even after incurring extreme losses or gains. Quote, "It was like all or nothing." Within 2 days, Omar had lost not only his gains, but his entire initial investment. Desperate to earn it back, Omar, 23 years old and the child of working-class immigrant parents, took the rest of the money he could scrounge up, cash from his tutoring gig, his stimulus check, a chunk of his freshly deposited student loans that was supposed to pay for his living expenses, which were basically non-existent after he'd moved home during the COVID-19 outbreak, and poured all of it, $22,000, into his Robinhood account. Oof, really all in. Then he opened up Wall Street Bets. Quote, "I was really scared," Omar told CNN Business in an interview in August. Quote, "All I wanted to do was just make my initial money back and pay it off." By the end of the week, he had lost it all again. Omar, who spoke on the condition that he be referred to using a pseudonym out of concern over legality of trading with money from his student loans. Yeah, smart guy. Said that he blames himself for his losses, but regrets ever stumbling upon one of Reddit's most active communities. Quote, "I would not have traded options," Omar admitted, "if I had not found Wall Street Bets." Ooh, this is...
it's a hit piece of hit pieces
yes,
here.
it's a hit piece on the Reddit group. This is fun. This January, with Wall Street Bets now an inescapable presence, Omar was back on the board, back to trading. This past week has been a banner one for Reddit's island of misfit investors. Wall Street Bets exploded into the mainstream, moving from the front page of Reddit to the front page of the New York Times and nearly every other major news site. The subreddit's short squeeze of GameStop helped shoot up the price of the video game retailer's stock a mind-boggling 1,700% from the beginning of January to Wednesday, before it fell again Thursday. And then rose again Friday. They didn't add that part in there. Captivating the minds and wallets of investors, both casual and institutional, and financial regulators. But while millions are now discovering Wall Street Bets for the first time, it has been building momentum throughout the pandemic. One can trace its epic rise to a perfect storm of favorable conditions: the exponential growth of the app Robinhood and its no-fee options trading, the extreme volatility COVID-19 brought to the markets, the stimulus checks mailed to millions of Americans, the lack of televised sports for much of the year, and the unwanted free time stuck at home the pandemic has forced on many people. Describing itself as if, quote, 4chan found a Bloomberg terminal, the forum's giddy nihilism, inscrutable language, and memes fueled a war on a perceived corrupted mainstream. And it's led Wall Street Bets' evolution into an unprecedented force of retail investing financial radicalism, offering the allure of get-rich-quick gains to a rapidly expanding audience of millions, 5 at last count. Many celebrated Wall Street Bets' war on GameStop short sellers as a populist campaign against hedge fund raiders looking to profit off the destruction of a well-known retail brand like GameStop. But unlike many other similar online communities, there is also a clear financial goal for the people in it. Quote, "It's a means to an end," explained one of them, AJ Vanover. At his retail job in auto parts store in Missouri, Vanover makes around $35,000 a year, but on Wednesday, he found himself a paper millionaire. His Robinhood account exceeded $1 million. Oh my gosh. Sell, buddy. Just
Yeah,
sell.
seriously, just sell.
You did it. You won. Get out of there, according to screenshots he provided, but he hadn't cashed out yet. For months, Vanover had been following GameStop as a value play, posting his thoughts on Wall Street bets along the way. This week, Vanover was off from work, quarantining after a coworker contracted COVID-19, but now thinks he won't return to his old job. Quote, "I know I'm going to do 2 weeks notice," he said with a nervous laugh, "so I'll be nice about it." Vanover said he plans to help his parents with their mortgage and he intends to keep investing in options. A lot of attention on options here today. These guys can move markets. Enter Wall Street Bets for the first time and you'll almost certainly be a bit lost. The forum's language can be difficult to understand, even for someone who knows typical Wall Street jargon. The vocabulary specific to the subreddit is extensive, and it will almost never be explained to a newbie earnestly asking for a term's definition. Posters revel in their crudeness. Homophobic epithets are tossed around as terms of affection. This is a extremely long article, Gons. Were you planning on going all the way through?
You don't have to read through. I think we get the gist of the
Yeah,
thing
you
here.
get the gist of it. It's about 30 paragraphs of why Wall Street Bets is evil. Did you have stuff highlighted here?
No, not really. I mean, coming from CNN, that wasn't too surprising. But as sort of a summary to all this, yeah, so a bunch of Reddit people got together, Wall Street Bets, and saw that their beloved GameStop stock was being heavily shorted by the hedge funds.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we will not let that happen. And they all bought in and they pumped the price and they liquidated all the shorts. So just for those who now look, I'm not an investing expert, so I will use my very basic knowledge of what this is for those who may not know. Just to summarize very quickly, a short is basically betting that a price of a stock will go down. You can make money when stocks go up, and to make money when stocks go down, you do a short, what's called a short. And apparently, as the story goes, somebody on Wall Street Bets, and this is the part where the insider trading threats are coming from, is apparently it leaked, or somebody had good knowledge that some big hedge funds had put in all those short
enormous,
orders.
Enormous bets on GameStop and a few others, going down in price. And so that's where this group got together and decided to start a revolution.
Right.
And so as they continued to purchase this, GameStop was not a very good stock. I mean, it was at about $17, I think, earlier in the month. And they all jumped in and shot it up. As we saw prices around 400. I think it hit 450 at one time, but has sort of rested in the 300s recently. And basically, what happened there was all these hedge funds lost their bets. And I mean, one hedge fund alone was standing to lose, or did lose, like $3 billion. And they basically had to get loans to cover their loss and almost completely destroyed the hedge fund. Which just made the Redditors so happy about it.
Right.
But it's been an interesting discussion since then about, obviously everybody knows bankers, hedge fund managers, all these financial elites make a pretty common practice of manipulating the markets.
Insider trading. knowing
What's
where
that?
knowing insider trading, where they know where a price
Oh, sure.
of a stock will go
and that's
before
just
it's
even
public.
one of them.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of ways that they can manipulate the markets. And when the people figure out that they can do it to the detriment of the elites, they certainly don't like it.
No.
And, you know, there was appearances on financial TV shows and the news, and it was hilarious watching these hedge fund guys just be like, "Oh, why are you doing this to us? You just hate us because we're rich." Whereas, you know, shorting especially, Elon Musk hates short sellers because you can actually destroy a company by shorting it. I mean, it has a big effect. And the short sellers have been a thorn in Elon Musk's side for a while. So not only was it this big group of Redditors, but there's also some pretty big investors who got in it. I mean, Elon Musk was promoting it, and some other large, well-known investors were promoting it. This is a full-on war. And it's been very interesting to watch.
Yeah, well, I think this is a very fascinating event that took place here because it really just put the economic manipulation of Wall Street just in front of everybody. And on one hand, so I'm going to talk about this in multiple levels. So on the surface level here, this is very much a down with the big bankers, you know, a win for the little guy, you know, no more manipulation. We've had enough. That sort of sentiment was garnered on Reddit and just throughout. And, you know, these hedge funds that were being liquidated or losing all their money, basically, they actually made some moves. They decided to go shut down the trading of some of these stocks.
Right.
And so one of them was Robinhood. Now, Robinhood is an app that a lot of younger millennials and younger kids use to trade. It really did bring, you know, stock trading, which used to be sort of a esoteric type of practice, you know, like you got to be in with certain people and know people and have money to get into the markets. But Robinhood kind of brought that to the broader audience, or, you know, more people. And their whole thing was like, oh, we're democratizing the stock market, bringing it to the people, blah, blah, blah. But of course, they shut down trading of GameStop stock, and people freaked. I mean, people were so upset.
Well, because
Robinhood shut it down.
That's its own form of market manipulation,
right?
You know, they came out, they sent emails being like, "We're doing this for your protection,"
right? Whatever.
You got bad info.
Well,
and there's some theories behind this. Yeah.
I was going to say that E-Trade and a few other platforms basically prevented people from selling their GameStop stocks when they were, you know, pumping or buying. I guess they stopped both, and so the hedge funds can drop the price down and try to save face. And that sentiment right there really spoke to a lot of people, even people like us. You know, it's like, of course, when the hedge funds do insider trading, it's all fun and games when the common person loses all their money because they don't have inside information or whatever. But when the little guy decides to collude, so to speak, I'm using that loosely, then, oh no, we can't have this. The big hedge fund elite, they're going to shut it down so you can't liquidate. So there's definitely two different sets of rules depending on which side you're on. If you're in the elite wealthy class, then you can shut down the exchanges. You can even prevent people from continuing to trade. Or if you're just a little guy, then you're stuck. You're stuck with a dropping stock that you can't sell.
Right.
So, and one thing about Robinhood that I do want to mention.
And just a quick correction, Robinhood did not block selling of the stock. They just blocked buying.
Oh, okay. I thought they blocked both at one point, and then they activated one later.
Not that I know of. I think you were allowed to sell the whole time, but you could not buy more. They would not let you increase your position.
Ah, okay. Well, one thing to note here, this is a story from 2017. Financial Times, Kushner Venture Fund helps return Robinhood into a unicorn. Jared Kushner's brother, Josh Kushner, is behind the funding and the big move of Robinhood becoming mainstream back in 2017. So, Jewish space lasers. That's well, my side connection to that story is sympathy for the Jews as sort of a story headline to try to mitigate any kind of criticism for the Kushners because they're behind the Robinhood thing here, and Robinhood's kind of getting destroyed. But
well, it's interesting how this whole event, it's got so many layers to it. So there's the actual financial transactions, which, a lot are getting a lot of attention, but you put this in the context of the Great Reset, and you put this in the context of the stakeholder capitalism.
Yeah.
This is it was a big moment where people realized a couple of things. One of them was, as a bunch of little people together, if we work together, we can actually do the same type of stuff that big elite hedge funds can do. This is amazing. We got to get like 1 million of us together, but we can move markets, which has been an incredibly illuminating aspect of this whole thing, because that was unthinkable. I mean, we're all aware, especially if you're listening to this show, we're all aware that the economy and the markets and everything are manipulated much easier than we think. And, you talk about the free market and yada, yada, yada. It's really not that free. It's all controlled by conflicting or varying incentives at the top. But this was an eye-opening moment, not just for people, not for the regular Joes to figure out that they can actually cause some change, but also for the hedge funds and the financial elites to realize, oh, dang, we don't necessarily have full control of this all the time.
Well,
and that's triggered a lot of calls for regulation, which is hilarious. You have financial elites who are the pinnacle of, don't regulate anything, don't regulate the markets, don't regulate nothing. And suddenly they lose a couple bucks and are calling to regulate everything to keep the regular Joes out of trading.
And what's funny is it exposed a lot of big time, not even big time, but like a lot of alt media folk, if they're for the people or if they have some cash flow from some of these higher wealthy folks. One of the people that really went after Reddit and the whole concept of the common man getting together.
Everybody loves waffles.
Mr. Ben Shapiro. He's criticizing the Redditors and saying like, they treated it like a game. They treated it like it was gambling.
Yeah, I lost a lot of respect for him.
Well,
at that moment.
I'm not. I mean, didn't have
not that I had a lot of respect for him,
but
I wouldn't call it respect. That's true.
The other layer to this is what you were tapping into is this idea that this really is suspicious timing for everything happening with the Great Reset, and Davos is happening this week, and they're all talking about a new economy and stakeholder capitalism. It feels, if you step back from everything, it does feel like a purposeful counter-revolution that was sort of sparked, not just out of the blue. It does seem a little bit weird that all of a sudden, it's a counter-revolution.
It was right after Davos.
Yeah, or during Davos.
During all this talk about the Great Reset and changing how things work. I mean, the timing was just incredible. It's also, for better or for worse, I don't know. Only time will tell. Of course, if there is any sort of pullback, which there was a panic moment after this happened. The whole market not crashed, but pulled back quite a bit. And it's being blamed on regular people accessing the market. Suddenly you have all these evil, little traders. Oh, they're so maniacal. They made our bull market pull back. And this will certainly be used for more regulations, which is the perfect reason for them to keep retail traders. That's sort of the term for Robinhood traders and just the normal guy or girl trying to get in on this.
Yeah.
It's the perfect demonization of, you can't let the regular Joe in on our precious sacred market. And because they broke it.
The other part of this, and to that point of the counter revolution, it exposes a lot of the current, not just the system, but like the incoming administration. This is dailycaller.com. Janet Yellen received $810K in speaking fees from hedge fund embroiled in GameStop saga. So, she's our new Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen,
right?
Miss Federal Reserve right there. So, it just puts a big spotlight on people like her who received almost $1 million to give a speech from these hedge funds that were in question against the GameStop situation there. And then the other, continuing on, multiple layers here. This pushes everything into crypto, which is a very strange, but also not surprising part to this entire phenomenon here.
Yeah, just as you mentioned that, I mean, I took a moment, and before the Wall Street Bets Reddit group got shut down and disappeared and moved to other platforms, when this was first happening, which was happening live on Wednesday's show, it all happened on Wednesday during the show. So we were just learning about it while we were live. So I popped into the Wall Street Bets Reddit while I was still alive. And there's a huge contingent of them who are specifically saying, okay, we're all going to make a bunch of money while doing this, and then we're all going to buy Bitcoin. I'm like, these people really have a long-term, strategy. Well, they're not just trying to make money on the stock market.
Well, before they pumped everything pumped last night in the crypto markets, but they pumped Dogecoin, which, for those of you who don't know, Dogecoin is a meme coin that was forked from Bitcoin back in 2013 or 2014 or something. They have a Shiba Inu as a mascot, and it was trading at, let's see, let me try to pull up a chart here and see how much it pumped in the last few days here, or a couple days. So it was trading at under a cent, so about 0.008 cents before this whole situation, and then now it's pumping. It pumped all the way up to 7 cents from my chart here. So maybe close to 10x out of nowhere. Yeah. And everyone started saying, oh, buy Doge, and I think the Reddit guy even on Twitter was like, has Doge ever hit $1? Right. And everyone's like, oh, buy Doge, but just don't buy Doge right now because that's a bad, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But just so people are aware, the market cap of Doge right now is $6 billion. It would take $128 billion for Doge to hit $1. So that's like,
I've been hearing you say that. What is the calculation? How do you know? Is there like an actual equation for market cap to price?
Yeah, you just take the supply of the coin, and you just have to match it to $1, right? If the supply of I think there's 128 billion coins of Doge, if I'm not mistaken, total supply. And so if it's going to hit $1, 128 billion.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty straightforward. So, but anyway, that's another 14, 15x from the peak here. And it may get there at some point in the future, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks or whatever when they're trying to get it to $1. That would be
when you
pretty
talk
absurd.
about the trends and forces of this is the really interesting thing, because when it comes to investments, whether it be crypto or stocks, in crypto, they're called whales. In stocks, you have your hedge funds. These are really big movers of money in these spaces. A whale, they'll have millions of dollars in Bitcoin or Doge or whatever cryptocurrency. And hedge funds, some of these hedge funds were shorting millions of shares of GameStop. So these are big movers. When it comes to the long-term goals, I mean, we're only 2 days into this whole GameStop thing, and who knows what'll happen. But I feel like there is a case where the long-term sustaining attitudes towards a certain not commodity, but I don't know, investment asset. Yes. I have a feeling that, a million Redditors has more of a long-term sustaining, or could have a long-term sustaining, attack or effect on a certain asset versus, a couple of hedge funds or a couple of whales trying to move crypto. I don't know. It's this whole metaphor of, like a school of fish. You got a shark or a whale or something running around, and you got a million little tiny fish, but the way they band together and pretend to be one giant fish, they can scare away predators.
Right.
But if they start to break up and there's no cohesion within that school of fish, then the effect is lost. So it'll be interesting to see. That's why all these psychological operations, such as the CNN article we were reading through, demonizing the Reddit people and the Reddit channel Wall Street Bets. If you break the morale of the school of fish, that's when they will lose control. But I don't know, the internet's a weird place, and people are desperate enough that if this school of fish stays together, they might be able to keep something going.
Yeah, and it helps when Elon Musk, the alleged richest man in the world, puts hashtag Bitcoin in his Twitter bio. And the guy from Reddit does the same thing. Jack Dorsey has had it for a while. And obviously this is again, it just seems very coordinated. Like, okay, time to move the financial system to, and we've talked about the redistribution of wealth as part of this entire plan.
Right.
And this seems like it's part of it. It just feels like it,
Totally.
And
it has the potential for sure.
And it comes a year after, I'm just going to flat out say they as in the elite, through neglect, through various ways, killed a whole bunch of old people, with the Ronas.
With the COVID.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have all these, I don't know the statistics on this, but
there would be a transfer of wealth generationally.
It feels like there's a bunch of younger people, millennials and younger, who got money handed down to them, trusts, whatever it is, and they're starting to look at investments and what to do with that money. And obviously, when you talk about hedge funds and stuff, they're sort of not popular amongst the younger people, the younger crowd. And so this type of event, I've heard people call it a white swan event, would spark a transition, and maybe that's even part of the Great Reset narrative. They know the younger people are going to be like, I don't know about that. Let's create our own great rebellion.
Right.
And so, you're psyoped into this whole thing. So I don't know. It's just a very interesting thing to keep an eye on and keep track of.
It's a really weird moment.
It is.
I mean, I feel like there are some people, not, of no fault of their own, don't quite fully comprehend the vastness of what has the effect that this has had over the past 2 days and will have into the future. I don't even know if I fully understand it, but it feels much bigger than just a silly Reddit joke that they played.
Right. No, it's way more serious. This is, and that's what Ben Shapiro was trying to say. And other defenders of the hedge fund. Oh, these are real people losing real money. And it's like, well, but it's,
I know.
You have no sympathy for them because you're talking about,
it's very hard to have sympathy for the big hedge funders, especially when they're reaping the consequences of basically being caught in the act of destroying GameStop as a company,
right?
Which, look, I don't really care about GameStop as a company, but they're coming
a lot of
out.
young people do.
we're people too. You're hurting real people. Well, you are going to crash GameStop. They have 14,000 employees. You didn't care about them.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. It's a very interesting. I mean, on the day that it started happening, I read an article that called this possibly the biggest transfer of wealth from the rich to the, they said poor, but whatever relative that means. But yeah, the biggest transfer of wealth from the elites to the common man in 100 years, which I don't know if that's true or not, but that was this type of weightiness that was being put on this event the day of.
Yeah. And a lot of people in the chat saying that, the game's about to stop. It's kind of a
little messaging,
verbal neurolinguistic programming going on there.
Could be. I mean, totally could be.
And just to bring it back real quick to the Robinhood situation there, I thought this was pretty funny. Somebody tweeted out, this is Dr. Parik Patel. He says, a Robinhood employee slept with my wife. Delete Robinhood.
That's funny.
And the other thing I thought was fantastic. I thought this was great. At Robinhood on Twitter suddenly gained hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
And they said this, lovely to have all these new followers. Can we just check that you know that you're following the Worldwide Robinhood Society in Nottingham and not the Robinhood app? If so, a big welcome from Sherwood.
Yeah. Everybody's just really stoked on this region in England now.
Yeah. And somebody had mentioned, like, you have any stock tips? And I can't find the tweet here, but basically he said the only stocks are, we only know about old stocks or something. I can't remember. It was a good joke. Anyway, good job there, Mr. Robin Hood there. But the real Robin Hood would be flipping over in his grave if he saw what was happening with the platform there. And,
I mean, the Robin Hood is, I was looking through because a lot of people are calling to have a mass exodus from the Robin Hood app.
Yeah.
Because of their actions that seem to go against their whole principle. Yeah, the good of the people. And so I just searched, did a little search, like what are the alternatives to Robinhood? And there's not a lot of great ones. The first ones on the list, and this was a new list that they had put together in response to this, it was like E-Trade, Ameritrade. It was all the humongous financial companies that are, similarly guilty of perpetrating all these elite financial tomfoolery. There was a couple other options like Cash App or something, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of good alternatives to Robinhood.
Well, especially with stock, which is why I think this is a big move for crypto. Yeah. And whether purposeful or not, that's what's going to happen, because the reason why you're not going to find anything that is good for people to access the stock market outside of like a Robinhood is because everything is centralized. All these platforms are centralized exchanges. And what's going to happen in the crypto world, there's already something called a DEX, decentralized exchanges. The biggest one right now is called Uniswap, which happens to be represented with a unicorn. And of course, if you know anything about unicorns, initiation into masonry and stuff like that, there's some connections there. Mm-hmm. Go see a Truth Stream Media video on that. So I think there's something there where they're trying to initiate the public, so to speak, into this type of reality. But also, there is one cryptocurrency that I really like the look and feel. And there was a whole movement with DeFi last year, decentralized finance. It became huge, and it's locking up all kinds of billions of dollars. And one of the new projects in DeFi is called MPH, 88 miles per hour. And I just love the way it looks. It's got the retro wave look to it. And you can, stake your coins and earn rewards and stuff like that. And they even have like this visual thing where you can keep track of how much money is locked up and whatever. 21,666,000. Right as we record this. So, I think it's just funny to see where finance is going. And as our generation, Basil, you and I, our generation gets older and nostalgia really plays a part in how things look and feel and stuff like that. Banking and finance might look very, very different in the next decade or two, where we're literally holding money on a Back to the Future meme website. It's just wild and crazy. So
I do want to just mention, MC in the YouTube chat mentioned a app called Webull, WEBULL.com. I'm looking at it now and said it's like Robinhood, but 10 times better. I don't know.
I've heard
can't
of
vouch for it yet, but this is the first Robinhood-like app that I've been able to find. That isn't Cash App or some other, huge tech. The one thing tentacle.
The one thing nice about Webull, I think, is you can trade after hours. That's the big shift there. Whereas Robinhood did start doing that a while back, but yeah, that's good. Yeah. And another thing to just keep in mind, if anybody is tempted to get into this sort of thing or use Robinhood, and I expect Webull is the same, they're not actually doing the selling or buying, like an E-Trade or something. They're actual brokerages. Robinhood is not a brokerage proper. That as far as my understanding, they actually just will take your orders and then they put it all through a different brokerage. Yeah, you're paying, you're trading paper. You're not really trading the asset. If I'm mistaken,
you're not actually getting the asset. You are, but they're just doing it. They're not doing it right there in front of you. Right. They're doing it all on the back end.
Which is a part of the issues with just traditional banking. What's called fractional reserve banking, where you don't have to have the assets really to actually trade stuff. And that's part of why I never recommended Robinhood for people that are into crypto. I think they halted a whole bunch of crypto trades too. But you can't actually physically own the Bitcoin or any kind of coin that you buy on Robinhood because you can't withdraw it from Robinhood. You can only hold it on Robinhood. So you don't actually hold the coins.
And that's one of the pains in the butt for people who are in this situation is, you can't move assets off of Robinhood. You have to sell, you have to liquidate and then move your cash and then purchase it on a different platform.
Right.
Which was a genius trick on their part.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is all fun conversation to have, especially for us, you and I, Basil, we've been kind of keeping an eye on crypto for a while, and to see what we knew was going to happen. We knew that they were going to do some kind of transition into a crypto-ish world. And this seems like another big catalyst in that direction, especially since I'm seeing stuff like this. This is documenting disruption. Just found out this hedge fund, Fred Capital, has a $7 trillion Bitcoin short position. I don't think it's 7 trillion. It looks like 7 million. I don't know. But I don't know if it's true.
That's way too big a number.
It's too big. Yeah, too big a number. But I think the sentiment here is buy Bitcoin as a financial vote against the system. And totally. That's definitely something that's picked up steam recently. And again, you got to educate yourself on this stuff because, your children and their children probably, unless the Lord returns and puts an end to the whole thing, is not going to be holding cash paper. It's not going to, I just highly doubt we're going to be having paper as something that's valuable and a medium of exchange. And I saw some memes too of the first guy to disrupt the banks. As a picture of Jesus flipping tables.
Yeah, right.
So I guess that's okay. That's good. But let's move on because we got a bunch of stuff to get into.
Let's talk about Davos.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood. They'll suck
Politics.
your blood.
Okay, politics. The many bloodsuckers.
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah. So Davos is still going on, and just keeping track of stuff. I'm sure in the days and weeks to come, we'll have more, things to dig into in terms of what they publish. They're publishing so much stuff on the Davos channel. It's hard to keep up. They got all kinds of live streams and talks and virtual conversations and whatever. This one was a panel discussion that I'm looking at here. It had Darren Walker, who is the president of the Ford Foundation. And I'm going to play a little bit here, about a minute, maybe a couple minutes here of him talking about capitalism and the connection to white supremacy and white nationalism and stuff like that. It's all very tied in with the social justice narrative. And then I got another little section to play, but let's play this real quick here.
Or jumping into the challenge of what happens in a post George Floyd world, a world for corporations where we are being held to account. I want to just make sure we remember who the audience at Davos is. The audience at Davos are the world's greatest capitalists. Now, I am a capitalist because I believe that capitalism is the best way to organize an economy. But I also have a point of view that if capitalism is to be sustained, we must intentionally put a nail in the coffin of the ideology of the last 50 years propagated first and foremost by Milton Friedman and others who used the Friedman ideology as scaffolding to allow the kind of and propel the kind of inequality that Gabriella has spoken about this morning. So we must put the nail in the coffin first. Secondly, we must recognize that the challenge of white supremacy, as difficult as it is to talk about it, is real. Patriarchy is real in our capitalist systems. And if we want a more just recovery, we have to acknowledge that there was in my view, I organize things sort of in time and space, and there was a BC world. Before coronavirus, there was a world. That world is
BC
over.
before coronavirus.
It doesn't mean that we've lost everything in that world. It just means that many of the norms and structures and understandings of that world in a post-coronavirus world, in a PC world, must be reorganized, reimagined, and dismantled.
Okay, so a few things he said there. I thought it was interesting. The BC world before coronavirus and a PC world post-coronavirus. And again, white supremacy being the major tenet. And the thing that's interesting, he kept saying that he's a capitalist, and everyone here at Davos is a capitalist. But we have to change the capitalism because of the inherent, racism and all that kind of stuff that's embedded in the old form. You got any thoughts there so far, Basil?
Nothing I haven't heard before.
Okay. So here's what's interesting. You're going to hear the host, Ishan Tharoor, I think that's how you say his name, come in and try to sort of fix the situation here because he kept saying he's a capitalist.
So we have work to do, we capitalists. If we believe in capitalism and if we believe in justice, these are not irreconcilable ideas.
And stakeholder capitalism, of course, is the watchword of this week, or the watch phrase of this week here in Davos.
Oh, very nervous. Ishan Tharoor. He had to throw in the stakeholder capitalism to clarify
the watch phrase.
Because this guy, Darren Walker, just kept talking about capitalism, and we can't talk about capitalism unless we're clear that we're talking about stakeholders capitalism.
Right, you're right.
So I thought that was pretty funny. And thank you, Audrey, for pointing that out and sharing that with me. And yeah, that's there are little things like that where, this guy's being corrected. Darren Walker, the Ford Foundation, being corrected by the host. No, you can't just stop talking about capitalism.
Oh, don't be a capitalist.
Stakeholders capitalism.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and talking about stakeholders, traditionally stakeholders, that's another name that you can put on people who own stock. If you own stock in a company, you're a stakeholder, and just another interesting way to fit in the GameStop shenanigans is, you have regular people trying to become stakeholders, and you have the elites who are not very happy about it because this stakeholder capitalism is meant to only benefit current stakeholders. And when the little guy tries to become a stakeholder, they're not very accepting of their new peers.
But of course, we're all sharing. We're all going to share things.
Yeah.
No one's going to own anything, says Sustainable Development Agenda. So that's our one Davos clip. But I think it's something important to keep in mind because Biden is not present at this Davos event. But if you look at his executive orders, my goodness, I mean, it's basically Davos in America.
Keeps going.
Davos in America.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
This is CNN.com via MSN.com. Biden has signed 42 executive actions since taking office. Here's what each does. And it goes through all the different EOs here. We're not going to necessarily sit through all of them, but I just think it's pretty wild how, for a guy who basically said that, executive orders don't really work or isn't a good way to.
Well, he came out on video. I mean, I wish we had that clip. He has a whole clip about how executive orders, that's not how presidents are supposed to get things done. I will not do that because I believe in democracy and it's not about executive orders. And even here at the Washington Examiner, Joe Biden criticizes primary rivals. This is from August 17th, 2019.
2 years ago.
Joe Biden, what?
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, during the election, in the heat of the election.
Well, no, even before, it's a year before
the primaries.
Yeah, before the primaries.
Joe Biden criticizes primary rivals for relying on executive orders for policy positions. Joe Biden criticized his presidential primary rivals for suggesting so many executive orders to achieve their policy priorities rather than working to generate consensus, speaking to a crowd, yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, we could read the whole thing, but it sums up to he thinks that relying on executive orders is a bad way to do it. And I don't know, a little bit of a change of tune from old Joe.
Well, not surprising.
And if you look at the numbers of executive orders that were in the first, I think they were rated by the first 7 days. Trump had like 5.
Yeah.
Obama
had 1, I think.
Yeah, he had 1. Bush didn't have any. Clinton had a few. A handful of executive orders is kind of the norm in the first 7 days. But I think he had 33 in his first 7 days, which was just outrageous. And another reason why Democrats are feeling a little feeling
betrayed,
feeling like a flapjack. I don't know what that means, but it sounds right. But also, let's jump over to CNN.com real quick. We got a fact check.
Fact check, I know.
We got a quick fact check. Fact
by
check.
CNN Politics, of all people. Totally trustable outlet.
CNN Politics is here to give us, open the hangar, let the airplane fly in. Spoon feed fact check here. No. Biden didn't say that signing lots of executive orders makes you a dictator. Oh, okay. President Joe Biden has signed more than 35 executive orders, actions. This is from today, actually. So more than 35.
Yeah, he signed 7
42.
Between this article being written and this show airing. So wow, he's really busy.
Yeah, he just keeps them coming. President Joe Biden has signed more than 35 executive orders, actions. It's so funny. They say more than 35. So do they mean 36?
Well, they just mean he's still signing so many. He doesn't know what he's signing based on what he said. In the last episode we had that clip of him saying, "I don't know what I'm signing," and then he signed a thing. So,
actions and memorandums in his first week and a half in the Oval Office, and some of Biden's critics are saying or suggesting that his frequent early use of the presidential pen contradicts a dramatic statement he made on the campaign trail in October. Quote, Biden signed off on a record number of executive orders during his first week, but just 3 months ago, according to Biden himself. That's something only a dictator would do, Fox News host Sean Hannity said on air Tuesday. Quote, as recently as October, now President Biden said you can't legislate by executive action unless you're a dictator. Well, in 1 week, he signed more than 30 unilateral actions, and working Americans are getting short shrift, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said Thursday in the Senate. One more quote here. By his own definition, Biden is already governing like a dictator, read a headline on an opinion column in The Hill by commentator Joe Concha. Biden signs more executive orders despite claims he once said they were for dictators, read a headline in the conservative Washington Examiner. Joe Biden admits he's governing like a dictator. Okay.
All right, everyone's saying conservatives saying he's a dictator.
Everyone's saying it. So facts first. Let's skip the facts. I mean, somebody had a word count that they needed to hit on this article, because facts first. These Biden critics are taking his dictator remark out of context. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it, CNN.
Biden explicitly campaigned on signing various executive orders, including those to rescind some of the then President Donald Trump's own executive orders. And he didn't say in October that signing a large number of orders means a president is a dictator. Rather, after Biden rejected the idea of using an executive order to raise taxes on corporations, which is the least surprising thing you could say, he said there are, quote, things you can't do by executive order unless you're a dictator. Oh, in other words, Biden was saying that he had said before and has said since that executive orders are unconstitutional for some particular purposes. Okay, so in an email, McConnell spoke. I believe in this context, I seem to remember he was talking about gun control. Do you remember hearing that clip?
I do, but I don't remember the exactness. Let me click on the link there to see if
good luck finding it.
Yeah, well, let's see
what I can do here. There you go. A minor tweak with this fact check.
Because we have the greatest opportunity of any country in the world to own the 21st century.
Okay, there you go. Let's see. Dictator. He says it here. Stephanopoulos says, so there's not going to be any delay on the tax increases. Then Biden said, no, well, I've got to get those votes. I got to get the votes. That's why, the one thing that I have this strange notion. I like how the way it's written is just thoughts.
As meandering.
Thoughts just bubble up as he talks. We are a democracy. Some of my Republican friends and some of my Democratic friends even occasionally say, well, if you can't get the votes by executive order, you're going to do something. Things you can't do by executive order unless you're a dictator or a democracy. We need consensus. Okay. That's pretty rambly. Is that I don't think that's the actual source of where people are saying he said that it takes a dictator, is it?
I don't know. We'll have to look around some more.
All right. Well, somebody in the chat might know. This is why we're not explicitly a political show.
So there you go. CNN says Biden is not a dictator. Settle down, folks.
Yeah, and I like how when it's Biden, it's they're taking it out of context. We got to, right. All this stuff. But with Trump, it was always like,
if only they gave Trump the same treatment.
Yeah. Speaking about taking things out of context, CNN on what presidents say. So, yeah, okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's signing a buttload of executive orders. And, one of the ones that he signed that we talked about in the last episode about protecting Asian Americans. Mm-hmm. People have mentioned this, but if my YouTube channel gets deleted or, anything of mine gets deleted, I can wave the flag. I could say, you guys are going against Biden's executive order on discriminating against Asian Americans. And I'm going to take it to court. Social justice.
Yeah, good. You hear that, YouTube?
Yeah, can't shut us down. All right. And then Basil riding the coattails of my Asian American.
My person of color.
Yeah.
You're my person of color.
POC.
I need you. It's the only way I can get anywhere in this life.
And speaking of debunks, Reuters did a fact check. Biden family Bible used during his oath as historically Roman Catholic, not connected to Illuminati or Freemasons, as posts claim.
Great.
You know, and this is another one of those instances, we won't necessarily dig in too deep with this, but where, you know, the mainstream outlets will pick up on some of the fringy commentary, not even fringy, like inaccurate commentary that seems to get some play, not even a lot of play, and debunks that. It's almost like debunking a straw man.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that basically that's what it is. When they cite all these people saying things about it, you know, it's all just random people saying like, "Oh, this is what's Biden doing with the Illuminati Bible?" All this kind of stuff, you know. So it's low hanging fruit and trying to debunk a whole idea, protecting Biden's person here. But I'm not going to even read it. I think people understand.
Yeah, we've gone through his Bible before.
Yeah. And this is a interesting one. If you want to take a look at this, BasilPolitico.com. Excuse my language here. This is a quote. "For Christ's sake, watch yourself. Biden warns family over business dealings."
Watch yourself.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, you know, this is interesting. Let's read on a little bit to learn something and then get into it. In the midst of his campaign for president, Joe Biden took his younger brother Frank aside for to issue a warning.
Was Frank the one that killed the guy?
I think so.
Okay, so he's the guy that ran over a dude.
He's been in a lot of trouble. He's mixed up in a lot of weird stuff. He what was it? Drunk driving.
Killed a guy.
Or girl, I think. I think he killed a woman.
I thought it was a dad that he killed.
Like a teenager. Oh, yeah, it might have been. Yeah. So, yes, Frank Biden, obviously, Hunter Biden, lots of shady
Bidens.
Shady Bidens. Again, quote, "For Christ's sake, watch yourself," Biden said of his brother's potential business dealings, according to a person with knowledge of the conversation. Quote, "Don't get sucked into something that would, first of all, hurt you." Oh, is that a threat? Biden, whose tone was both, quote, jocular and serious, according to the person, seemed to know then what is becoming plainly obvious now. His family's business ties threaten to undermine an administration whose messaging is centered on restoring integrity to the White House. Relatives' money-making ventures, most prominently his son Hunter's overseas dealings, have long dogged Biden, but it's taking on a new dimension now he's in the White House. Only a week into his presidency, Biden already has had to answer for matters related to his family. A law firm ad promoting Frank Biden's relationship with the president caused a stir when it ran on Inauguration Day. A federal investigation into Biden's son, Hunter, has invited scrutiny of just how strict a firewall he'll keep between the White House and the Justice Department. And another of the president's brothers, James, I wonder if that was the one, has previously come under fire for his business dealings. Florida super attorney and Democratic donor John Morgan said business sensitivities were coursing through Biden world this week after the report about Frank Biden's law firm. Biden world.
It was Frank, the one that owed $1 million to the family.
Right. He never paid the family.
Yeah, he never paid the family.
Yeah, he was supposed to pay $1 million for killing their dad, and he never did. He ran off to Florida or something.
Yeah.
Quote, "What Frank told me is my brother loves me dearly, but if I lobbied, he would cut my legs from underneath me," Morgan said Frank Biden told him this week. You know, you hear a lot of these quotes. There's some crazy stuff with Hunter, too, where, he was basically blackmailing Hunter to pay him half of what he was getting from Burisma and stuff. Because all these people are making money on Joe Biden's name.
Right.
I mean, all their business dealings are based on their relation to Joe. The intent of Joe Biden's initial conversation, according to the person with knowledge of the discussion, was to protect Frank from, quote, being hurt and vilified in the event his big brother Joey, that gives me a shiver down my spine, was elected to the most powerful position in the world. Quote, Frank made it clear to me that the president made clear to him the day he got elected, the long knives come out for all things Biden, Morgan said. Quote, there's a target on all of them. Oh my gosh. So there you go. There's about 30 more paragraphs of that, but just quote after quote about chilling threats from Joe to his brothers.
What is Frank Biden doing with having a law firm ad on Inauguration Day? Hey, my brother's Joe, the president, come to my law firm.
It's great marketing. It worked for Hunter in Ukraine.
I guess. It's just wild, man. I'm surprised. I mean, this, again, maybe people on the left, the Democrats, all the Biden supporters are waking up to some of the realities of.
Well, the crazy thing is this is more, what's the word?
Egregious?
Obvious? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. These are more egregious in his first 7 days. Well, I guess now we're, 2 weeks in?
Yeah.
2.5, something like that. This is like way more egregious than many years of the Trump administration as far as the like business dealings issue. I mean, the biggest thing with the business dealings of Trump were the rental properties.
Right. And accepting money from foreign people coming in.
And on this one, day one, Biden's brother is trying to leverage his brother's presidency.
And Politico reporting on it.
Oh, well, that's the wildest thing. Yeah. Politico, which is famously anti-Trump, pro-Biden, coming out and reporting on this type of stuff is pretty, I mean, wow.
Great reset. Great
their
reset,
loyalties are shaky.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll keep an eye on Hairy Legs President Biden there.
Yes.
We live in a Biden world. Isn't that wild? Our president is
Biden world.
Joe Biden. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Run through. Do you have anything else on that? Because I got a couple quick things here that I wanted to run through. OSC.gov. That's the Office of Special Counsel. HHS misused millions of dollars intended for vaccine research emergency preparedness. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel today sent letters to the President and Congress alerting them that over the last decade, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services misappropriated millions of dollars Congress intended to fund vaccine research and emergency preparedness for public health threats like Ebola, Zika, and COVID-19. A whistleblower alerted OSC to the misuse of funds appropriated to the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, BARDA, within HHS. And I'm not going to really read through the whole thing here, but basically, just more financial hanky-panky taking place at the
what
highest.
was it? What did they?
Well, basically, BARDA was supposed to receive money to do research on all kinds of stuff. And, it says here Ebola, Zika, COVID-19, but that money never made it.
Yeah.
It says here, while the report does not contain a specific estimate for total funds misappropriated, it contains evidence that as recently as fiscal year 2019, approximately $25 million was taken from BARDA's advanced research and development programs and improperly provided to ASPR, which is the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response.
Imagine that corruption in the government level health infrastructure.
Yeah. So not surprising. Oh, is your mic falling off?
No, I dropped my hand.
Oh no. You're like Luke Skywalker with a robot hand.
I can't do anything. Okay, hold on. Keep going.
Okay. Well, along with this corruption news here from government, More corruption news financially.
Let's lose some science, baby!
Oh, good. I wanted to know what was up with your buddy.
This is Newsweek. California hit with 1K fraudulent unemployment claims per day. Audit blames Newsom for inaction. A new audit of California's unemployment agency found that the state was hit with over 1,000 suspicious claims per day at the start of the pandemic, amid reports that an agency paid billions of dollars to fraudsters.
Oh my God.
Billions.
Billions.
While faulting the administration of Governor Gavin Newsom for, quote, significant misstep and inaction. So basically what happened here was, during the pandemic, the scamdemic, everyone was signing up for unemployment.
Yeah.
And basically there was a bunch of people pretending to, be unemployed to receive money. And they're saying, it says here, a Thursday report from California State Auditor Elaine Howell said that the Employment Development Department, EDD, was severely underprepared to combat fraud and did nothing to stop paying fake claims for months. So far, the state has paid at least $10.4 billion to fraudsters.
That's crazy.
With an additional $20 billion under review. So potentially $30 billion were paid to fraudsters.
From a broke state. That is crazy, especially in the context of, California being on the bleeding edge of UBI and sort of socialist policies. It's not surprising that they just would continue to provide money through this particular program. But $30 billion? You guys are pretty broke over there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're already running at a deficit.
Well, yeah, Newsom already spent $5 billion on some masks from China, some company that didn't even pass his
never came.
Health test. The EDD has been under intense fire in recent weeks after investigations have shown the agency's poor management and lack of protection cost state taxpayer billions. In some cases, millions of dollars worth of fraudulent claims were paid out to criminal gangs and prisoners. So think about this. You got prisoners.
They're literally paying prisoners unemployment.
They're in prison and they're like, hold on. What are you doing on your break? I'm going to fill out this paper. Yeah, but they're not going to.
Wow.
Just watch. I'll get my millions.
That is crazy.
This is ridiculous.
Well, the interesting thing, it's probably not even being filled out by the prisoners.
I don't know.
Who even knows?
It's just paperwork.
It could be coming from anybody. They should look and see if Newsom filed an unemployment claim.
Yeah,
he's probably gonna need to.
He's going to need to soon. Yeah. The thing that's troubling with this also, in the context of problem, reaction, solution, I can picture
blockchain
being a significant solver of this issue here. And the fact that, what's his name? I'm going to blank on his name. He's part owner of the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, the Shark Tank guy, Mark Cuban.
No.
Oh,
that's he's the owner of the. Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks.
You're right. Yeah.
He's got an Indian name that I could never remember. Chamath Palihapitiya.
Okay.
He's a Bitcoin billionaire, and he says he's going to run for governor of California.
Oh,
so great. I mean, imagine the kind of cleanup job, which again is part of, I think, the Great Reset here that can take place if he does actually get into office there. But
that would be interesting. A Bitcoin billionaire being in charge of California.
Well,
I mean, if he has the cryptocurrency ideology, that would be quite an ideological shift for the government of California there.
Well, there's a whole bunch of government websites, not a whole bunch, a handful of local government websites that have started publishing the Bitcoin white paper on their website. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because they're like pro Bitcoin. There's like one in Florida, I think.
Yeah, well, there's There's a city, shoot, I'd have to look it up, but there's a city, I think maybe in Colorado or something, that is making it so you can pay for all government services in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and I think
you
Wyoming
pay
was
your
one
water
of the,
bill and your property taxes and everything in Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it was either Wyoming or Montana. I can't remember which, but one of them had already, put out there that you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. So, it's out there. It's just interesting how they just let this egregious fraud continue.
Yeah.
And then we asked Gavin Newsom what kind of science or logic was behind not doing anything, and we this is what he said.
It's Newsom science, baby.
I just love that clip. So anyway, there you go. Everyone's busted. And a couple more real quick here. This was MSNBC, Brian Williams. Did you catch this clip here? It's a 54-second clip talking about McCarthy and Trump. They're about to play a clip. And here's what happened.
Baratunde, I'd like to begin with you, and we're all about to see something for the first time. We have what I'm told is the first video, exclusive video out of this meeting today between McCarthy and Trump. We'll watch it and react on the other side.
And for those who are not watching, it is playing a clip from Jerry Maguire.
Just shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello.
Had me at hello. It just keeps going. They don't shut it down.
That is obviously we have rolled the wrong clip, and we were sold a bill of goods here.
Did he troll them?
I don't know. Maybe someone in the back room trolled them or something. Hold on. Well, I accidentally clicked on the end. He does say something else at the end here. Come on, clip. It's not playing. Why isn't it playing? Did internet go down? No, internet's still up. Yeah, he says something about someone in the back room is going to get in trouble or something. But in any case, I just thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, it's either somebody in the back room really hates him and did this to him. I mean, that's a pretty big setup. We have exclusive first time footage,
Obviously, we have rolled the wrong clip, and we were sold a bill of goods here. I thought this was going to be of the McCarthy and Trump meeting, and someone's going to be, of course, in big trouble. Baratunde.
I wonder, if the Baratunde guy supplied that clip, or
maybe.
what the. I want to see that in larger context, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of whoopsies. Well, I have one more little thing here we should talk about before we take a break.
Yep.
This is coming from theworldnews.net, and the headline, Putin warns against tech giants becoming competitors to states. I think Putin listens to the show, Gons.
Well, he likes this jingle.
Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, 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 Russia.
Russian President Vladimir Putin today warned against the increasing influence of large technology companies, which he said are competing with states. Quote, these are not just economic giants. In some areas, they are already de facto competing with the state, Putin said during his address to the Davos Virtual Economic Summit. The Russian leader said it is unclear where the line is between a, quote, successful global business and attempts to crudely, at their own discretion, control society. Whoa, Putin is woke. Quote, we just saw it all in the United States, he added, referring to riots earlier this month in Washington led by supporters of the then U.S. President Donald Trump. Moscow earlier this week accused U.S. tech giants of interfering in Russia's internal affairs, in particular during anti-government protests led by supporters of jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny on Saturday. Ahead of the rallies, Russia's media watchdog Roskomnadzor ordered several online platforms, including YouTube and Instagram, to delete posts by users calling for protesters to attend demonstrations. Today, the chairman of the lower house State Duma's Foreign Interference Committee, Vasily Piskorov, said that the head of TikTok's Russian branch had been invited to parliament for a conversation. Oh, you don't want to go if you're invited for a conversation.
That usually means
with the Russian government.
He's not going to make it out.
Yes. Piskoryov was cited by the TASS news agency saying that questions had piled up about the China-based video sharing service, yada, yada, yada. So basically, Putin agrees with us, Gons, that these large tech companies, they're not just companies, but they are positioning themselves as new governments or competitors to traditional nation-state governments.
I think he watched Age of Deceit 3 and he was like, that is a good idea.
Yes.
And just
ran
with
is
it.
Good.
Yeah.
I ride horse. I take shirt off, ride horse.
Thank you to producer Eric R, who sent us that story in the summary.
Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah, that's the thing, Guns. You got all these world leaders who just keep agreeing with us. It's scary times.
I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather have them not agree with us. And
well, it's better that they agree with us than we agree with them.
True. That is true. Yeah. All right. There's still hope for Putin. Is that what you're saying? Baptize him?
I have no idea. I don't know. I go back and forth on Putin, you know. He's definitely, I mean, he's not a great guy, but he makes some decent points sometimes.
I think they cloned Putin. And they brought him to America and made him start a YouTube channel called We Are Change.
Okay, what?
That's a very insider.
Yeah, that was so inside. I can't even see the light.
You don't know what I'm referencing?
No.
There's a guy named Luke from We Are Change, and he has a very Putin-esque profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Anybody in the truth space there, they would know of Luke. All right, so let's take a break, and we got some other stories to get to afterwards.
Let's do it
real quick.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okie dokie, folks. We're going to take a quick break, but do not go anywhere. After the break, we've got some 33 and 666 updates. We'll see what the Illuminati and Luciferian dog whistles are trying to communicate through the mainstream news, as well as some important pandemic special updates. So you're not going to want to miss it. So stick around. But before we get to that, we want to take a moment and thank some of our producers. That's right. I said producers. That's because we're on the value for value model. And just to make it quick, the value for value model is pretty simple. We do our best to create value. We do the show 3 times a week, and we do the best we can to try to bring you the important stuff, and without some spin, do some analysis, try to bring some sanity into your world. And if you get any value out of that, you have the opportunity to put some value back in. And it's not just charity, it's not just donations. In fact, it is the only way that the show can keep going. And if you are enjoying this show today, you have nobody but yourself and the producers to thank for that. So, just like the real world, if you pay to have a piece of media created, you're not just a donor, you're not just a charitable Christian, but you are a producer of that piece of media. And the value for value model recognizes that. Also, it keeps us from having to take any corporate money for advertising. Not only do you get to have an experience void of advertisements, the brainwashing, the world building that comes from the corporate world trying to wriggle its way into what we do here. But no, you actually get a chance to rebel against that system that takes brainwashing and world building and narrative crafting into their own hands in order to monetize you, dear listener, into participating in their product or service. That's right. And, after all is said and done, it would just be wrong for us to take any corporate money. And so, but we can only keep doing that if you out there decide that it's worth producing the show. So we want to thank some of our producers right now. As usual, we have patreon.com/CCNT. And that is, if you're into Patreon, that's a good way to do it. But if you're not into Patreon, that's okay, because we have canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is your way to become a producer of the show, keep the show going, and really stick it to the man. And there's a lot of ways to do it there. You can come in with a monthly producership, or if commitment's not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. And there's also cryptocurrency and stuff over there, if that's what you're into. Gons, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
Today on the PayPal side, we're going to start with producer Jamar P.
Hey, thank you very much, producer Jamar P.
And he said, "What's up, guys? I really enjoy listening to the show. I appreciate your hard work and dedication. I'm so elated that my little sister, Samira,
yeah, she came in last episode or the episode before.
Introduced me to you guys, Basil and Gons. Thank you. So there you go.
Ooh,
thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you very much, Jamar.
Yeah, Jamar, you are no longer a normie.
No, now you're a producer.
And I think the next one here is from Samira.
Yes.
Oh,
it's a family affair.
There we go. Thank you, Samira. And I'm seeing two different spellings is why I'm wondering.
Yeah, that second one was my fault.
Okay.
That was me trying to remember how to spell it.
Even though it was literally a sentence before on the document.
Even though.
All right. Thank you, Samira. She said, "Hey guys, Illuminati dog whistle lives matter. JK, thanks for being."
She came in with the $33 producership.
Thanks for being there for us and keeping us informed. God bless you both. Uncool Paranoia.
Thank you very much, producer Uncool Paranoia, Samira.
Thank you. Next up, producer Saul.
And she got her brother involved. So
yeah.
I think she gets some credit for that too.
Yeah, the cage was rattled.
Yes.
I have this jingle. It was supposed to be for people escaping the cage, but I don't think it came out the way I thought it would. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Real quick?
Oh, it took longer than I expected.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fun. I like it.
People getting out of the cage.
Yeah.
Okay, so producer Saul coming in with lots of sevens.
Yeah, pocket full of sevens. Thank you, producer Saul.
He says, I won't always do this, I promise, but I'd like to request a jingle that went from being played so often to the point of being annoying to now barely being played at all. I never thought I'd say this, but I kind of missed the COVID-19 jingle. Who'd have thought?
Oh, yeah.
How about it for old time's sake? Enjoy your weekend and see you all again Monday. And for you, producer Saul, I'll find it.
It has been a while. You want a second to find that while I think another producer here?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. And next, coming up on the list of producers over at canarycryradio.com/support, we have producer Geraldine K. Thank you very much for the producership there, Geraldine K. I hope I'm saying your name right. I think I am, but there you go. Next on the list, we have a very mysterious producer Jane Doe.
Ooh.
Yes, and Jane Doe is coming in with $20.21 for the 2021 producership, and left a note that said, "Longtime subscriber on YouTube and Twitch. That's right. You get bonus points, Jane Doe, because you're subscribed on multiple platforms, which we recommend that everybody do, because you never know when one of them will disappear, and then you'll just never see the show ever again. So it's worth taking a moment and heading over. You can do that at twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio or youtube.com/Canary Cry Radio. Especially you Face Like the Sun folks. You're going to want to follow one of those as well, because, Gons, he's going to get kicked off any moment now.
Not unless I play the executive order card. I'm having a hard time finding that jingle.
It's been so long,
I know,
we've been once the Wackchine came out, we transferred over to the Wackchine jingle and the pandemic special jingle.
Yeah.
And for all of 2020, the COVID-19 jingle was a staple of every show.
I know. I'm trying to look for it here. I'll get to it. I'll find it eventually, but you're going to have to keep moving along here with
Okay, we'll play before the show is over. Next, we have producer Owl Eye Forge came in, became a monthly producer. Thank you very much, producer Owl Eye Forge. I wonder if that's that's a company or something. Owl Eye Forge sounds like they would make, I don't know, anvils, knives, swords. I'm going to do a quick search here.
Just in case.
Just in case, because, I don't want to dox anybody, but if it's a cool business, I want to... I'm not seeing anything. Nothing's coming up on Google, so if you do have a cool business, I found a hand-forged owl bottle opener available on Etsy. I don't know if that's you or not, but thank you very much, producer Owl Eye Forge, especially for coming in with a monthly donation or a monthly producership. And lastly, we had one more just sneaked past during the show here, and I want to thank producer Rachel C.
All right. Thank you, producer Rachel.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think there's a note on there, so there we go. Okay. Well, thank you to all of our producers. Gons, any luck at the last moment finding our dear producer Saul's jingle?
No, not yet. This is kind of interesting. No. It can't be labeled that weirdly, It's got to be COVID-19.
Yes, not just.
But apparently, I have a lot of files with COVID-19 in the description there. So.
Oh, well, I do have an Owl Eye Forge update. That's his way over on Twitch. It says, ha 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 ha, Owl Eye Forge, old business. It's just me. It was an old business. Okay. Well, thank you to all of our producers for this show, episode 293. You're the only reason we can keep this show going, but there's other ways that you can become a producer as well. If financially is not in the cards for you, that's okay. You can also support the show with your time or your talent, and sometimes both. And today we got a new jingle come in, Gons.
Yeah, let me hold on. Same folder.
You're distracted. You're stuck in soundboard land.
I am. Lots of files and stuff I'm shifting through here. But yeah, we have a jingle from producer Lloyd, and this is a police state jingle.
Okay.
You violated the law.
Play, my pretties. Play.
Target acquired.
You are terminated.
That's a lot going on. I heard Mr. Burns. I heard the Terminator. Some Star Wars.
The Star Wars alarm.
Yeah, that's like a big conglomerate police state jingle. So we may use that for any kind of reference to the police state or report on the police state.
Now that we live in Biden world, the police state will become even more of an apt jingle for as we move into the post-COVID future, the PC future.
Yeah. Well, this is troubling that I can't find this file. This is
still looking for it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, producer Lloyd. That is the King's Kid on the Twitch, I believe, and also the Canary Cry Dutchman. Thank you very much.
All right.
And as always, we want to thank Jade Bouncerson for doing the timestamps over on YouTube. For those who are watching on YouTube, after the live broadcast, you'll see a post that has all the timestamps that will allow you to easily and deftly navigate the sometimes 3-hour show using the timestamp. So you can jump back and forth depending on the subject matter you would like to hear about, and you don't need to hear all the extra nonsense.
Yes. And of course, other ways you can support the show is with your time and talent, along with jingles, is with your artwork. Jingle. Woo! Where's my artwork jingle? I'm having all kinds of problems today.
One art, please.
And this first one is from Green Eggs and Ham OG. Let me pull it up here. There it is. It's very, very good, actually. And he says, this is art relating to episode 285, listening to Dr. Martin's explanation in the 6-minute clip from the Wall Will Fall blog page pulled from the Focus on Fauci conference. And do you want to kind of explain?
Get in here? Yeah, so this is fun. This is like a paneled comic type thing. And in the first panel, we see a building, LTC, Local Tech Co. It's kind of like a big box store there. And the next panel, and there's some UFOs flying over the big box store there. And we've got a palm tree that looks to be a hidden 5G tower. So a nice look into our not even future, just our current situation. And then in the next panel, we've got is that a person or is that an alien? I think it's just a person. Yeah. And looking at a product in the store, he's got his hand on his chin there and a little thought bubble that says Jabonnaise. Ooh, Rona wax warning. What are these details? Okay, so he turns it around, is reading the panel on the back of the box, says Rona wax warning. This is not a vaccine. This is a technologically advanced mechanical medical device. Use at your own risk. Oh man, I gotta get I think I can read this tiny font. Let's find out. Imagine hundreds of I can't quite get it close enough.
Hundreds of little rosies from the Jetsons just zooming around your body, doing everything to keep you alive against all types of new and old diseases and illnesses forever. You could live forever. Once administered, these blood cell-sized super nano robots will turn your cells into a tiny virus producing factories. You'll make the virus so your body will identify it immediately as an invader and take care of the problem. Can be updated with newer advanced programs to defend against all future diseases and illnesses. Works with most biological monitoring apps. Soon to Q code to find us on the interwebs. Download your free monitoring app today. This device may malfunction. Use at your own risk. We are not liable for any adverse effects or damages caused. Then it gets even more.
It's just the kind of loses a little bit of digital quality.
If you experience any of these, please contact emergency medical immediately, including death.
The side effects are hard to read, but the first one definitely says death.
Yeah, death, lose
loss of extremities.
Extremities. Become unconscious, asphyxiation, seizures, heart palpitations, unusually high blood pressure, anal seepage, onset of I can't read that word.
Memory loss,
nauseous, fever of 103 degrees Celsius. That's steaming hot. Once administered to a living body, this device can never be removed. Uses nanoparticles, not nanobots. That's something we have pointed out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a really fun one and great style. I love the style on this too. And yes, the last panel is the reader of the box, very shocked at what he's reading there. And on the box it says, "Go Bionic."
Yep.
Very good. Who made this one?
That was Green Eggs and Ham OG.
Oh, thank you so much, Green Eggs and Ham OG. Really a fine quality comic you put together there.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so moving on, we have producer Grace coming in, and she sort of took the Davos thing there. She says, this one, I took a bunch of the buzzwords and crazy things they said in Davos video. Anything in brackets weren't said by them, but implied, and I took liberties. Haha. So,
yes, the Davos agenda buzzwords, World Economic Forum, build back better, build a better world, sheeple, stay at home, restructure our lives, nature needs a bailout, no vaccine for the planet, don't go back to the status quo, new normal, new normal, new normal, new normal, new normal, new normal, reshape the world, build this trust, climate change set to dwarf pandemic, nefarious plans for world domination, great reset for the lizard people, public-private partnership, capitalism is dead, stakeholder capitalism, new dashboard for the new economy. Very good. Thank you. Yes, it's nice. A nice little vocab cluster. What do they call it? A word cloud. That's what they call it.
Yes. And lastly, we got one from producer Allie.
Wonderful.
And there was also some stuff you can read publicly. I didn't actually put it in the notes there, Basil, but it was from, there was an email attached to this piece of art.
Oh,
the Canary Cry producers recently took a brief humor break from the heaviness of life as we know it when one of our members shared this video, and it's like a video of a guy on a buffalo. I think you
was it Man on a Buffalo video?
Yeah, it's
Man on a Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love this video.
Do you want to maybe play a second of it? I'm probably going to get copywritten,
play about 10, 20 seconds. Yeah, you're right. We will get copy. Yeah, we will.
It's all right. It's a guy riding a buffalo.
Just search guy on a buffalo. It's a great video. Oh, very good.
And
okay,
let me continue with the note.
Are you sure you're supposed to continue?
I thought so. Yeah, it said I can read it. So.
Oh, shareable. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And the guy on the buffalo became a running joke. The producer and her husband are now facing some life heaviness of their own. And Allie wanted, let me get the picture back up here. Allie wanted to offer this rendition of Greta on a Buffalo to brighten their day.
Greta on a Buffalo.
Psalm 30 verses 4-5. Sing unto the Lord, O ye saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. For his anger endureth but a moment. In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Greta on a Buffalo.
And
how dare you?
Greta's saying, how dare you drive cars? She rides a buffalo.
Yeah, riding buffalo is way more sustainable. Not for your life and health as a human being, but for the buffalo.
For the buffalo.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to run through some reviews here. Thank you to everyone. What?
Yep, I said okay.
Okay, here we go. Yes, so thank you to all those who have left reviews on Apple Podcasts. It really helps spread the word on the show. Again, it's an algorithm thing. And also when people find the show and want to know what it's about, they need to know. And we can only tell them so much. So first of all, I want to thank Jackie Rue for a couple of 5-star reviews. They left this one on Canary Cry Radio. Says, I wish I had started listening to them sooner, but it's okay because I'm listening to all the shows from the beginning while listening to their live shows. Got the show burps now. If there is ever an EMP, I will miss and pray for you guys and my fellow Canarians. I think it's supposed to say, God bless and protect all that you do. Your most favorable producer, Jackie Rue. Thank you very much, Jackie Rue. And then they left another review on Canary Cry News Talk, my only entertainment, in quotes. What better way to learn about world events than what better way to learn about world events and listen to these two? These ratings were way overdue, but here it is in all its glory. Thank you for so many hours of researchable entertainment. I like that. Researchable entertainment. Yeah. Well, thank you for both those reviews, Jackie Roo. And then we got one more review from, it didn't copy over who it came from. Let me jump over and grab this. This one is from me 22222. And this is 5 stars and it says 5 flippies. No words can compare to 5 flippies. Thank you very much, me 22222. Okay, there you go. That's all the reviews that we have. Is a short list, especially for having not read reviews for 2 weeks, but thank you very much to me 222 and Jackie Roo. You guys are the best. And if you have not yet left a review for Canary Cry News Talk on Apple Podcasts, please do that. Helps other people find the show and know what they're getting into. So we appreciate that very much. Okay, let me check the charts real quick, see if there's anything notable. Refreshing. Oh, yeah, baby. We're back up to number 2 in Jamaica. That's fun.
Oh, good.
Oh, so here's the thing. There's different categories. There's news and news commentary. And those are 2 separate categories. News commentary is our technical category because, that's it. We comment on the news. We're not necessarily reporters. But in Jamaica, guns. In the Jamaica Apple Podcast charts, we are listed in news, which is a much bigger category, so it's more impressive. We're number 33 in Jamaica.
Hallelujah.
Ooh,
we're
Jamaica.
They're signaling to us.
They are. My gosh, Jamaica. Thank you to all of our Jamaica fans. We're in top 100 in the following regions. Again, Taiwan, they love it because we're one of the only shows that realizes that they're not part of China. But speaking of that, we're number 96 in Singapore, 78 in New Zealand. What's up, sheeple? You New Zealanders are cool. There you go. Those are our top 100s. And that's all thanks to you producers. Couldn't do without you guys.
All right.
Have to keep the producers updated on the charts.
Yes, very good. And we thank you all producers out there so that we don't have to, lean and defend hedge fund.
Yes.
Hedge funds.
I will say this real quick. Just some other updates that are nice. We're 113th right now in the United States, which is actually pretty good to get up there in the United States. But we're also 111th in Norway.
Oh.
And 165th in Sweden. So we have a sort of a Scandinavian revolution going on up there.
Yeah, very good. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough for charts.
We got to take down Oldstein and Oldstein.
Oldstein. What's up, Oldstein?
And again, grateful for all of you guys so we don't have to sell you waffles.
Everybody loves waffles.
Yeah.
And protect hedge funds. All right.
Yeah.
So are you ready to land this plane or at least really zip through the second half here? As time runs short for me.
Let's zip. God's getting impatient. He's got children to feed.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Stepped all over that jingle, but it's okay. The
Your
Oakland
jingle
Press.
steps on me.
Okay. This is the Oakland Press. All 33 sports unanimously want Tokyo Games. Did you know that at the Olympics, there are exactly 33 sports?
I did not know that. That seems like something we should have known.
Definitely. But
is this
now
summer or winter?
Summer.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
wow.
all 33 sports.
That seems like we should know that. Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. And also from KESQ.com, Riverside County reports 1,641 new cases, 33 deaths, and 2,563 recoveries since Tuesday. Let's not talk about the recoveries.
No, it's not about the recoveries.
But also in Maryland, BaltimoreSun.com, 1,939 new cases of coronavirus, 33 deaths. Of course, the BaltimoreSun.com is not going to mention how many people have recovered. It just pops up a lot. Pops up quite a bit, this number 33, and the number that of people either who catches coronavirus or dies from it. And we'll talk about that in a second here. But also, this other number keeps popping up everywhere, too.
666.
This is Caden. Oh, my gosh. I'm totally not going to mess up this. Cadena Agramonte.cu in Cuba. 666 new cases of COVID-19.
Ooh.
10 from Camagüey. But that's a really big number of cases there in Cuba.
Yeah.
And not to be outdone, this is theweek.in. COVID-19 India reports 11,666 new cases. I think India is being marked.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So those are all the quick number updates. And let me see if this works here for producer Saul. I don't know if it's actually the correct one, but it's labeled COVID.
A pandemic special.
All right.
We did it. We did it. You're welcome, producer Saul. Okay, to kick off the show here, the big show, the COVID show.
Kick off the show that's been on for 2 hours already.
NewYorkPost.com headline, California healthcare worker dies days after receiving COVID-19 vaccine. Another one, folks, a California x-ray technician died earlier this month, just 4 days after receiving his second dose of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Oh, so this was a second dose.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Zook, 60. Oh, he was getting pretty close to the danger zone there. Died at UC Irvine Medical Center on January 9th after falling ill at South Coast Global Medical Center, where he worked hours after receiving the second jab. The Orange County Register reported. Hey, that's in your neck of the woods there.
It is.
Zook, a married father of 3, had shared his excitement on Facebook after completing the vaccination. Quote, never been so excited to get a shot before, he wrote on January 5th, the report said. Quote, I am now fully vaccinated after receiving my second Pfizer dose. His rapid health decline and ultimate death has left his wife, Rochelle Zook, searching for answers. We all need answers to this. She said that other than high blood pressure, which was controlled with medication, and being slightly overweight, her husband was healthy. Quote, we are not blaming any pharmaceutical company, Rochelle told the newspaper, but when someone gets symptoms 2.5 hours after a vaccine, that's a reaction. What else could have happened? Quote, the message is, be safe, take the vaccine, but the officials need to do... Yeah, what? This person is scared of getting canceled, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It sounds
Orange County, man. There's a lot of them out there.
But the officials need to do more research. We need to know the cause. The vaccines need to be as safe as possible. Every life matters, she said. Tim's cause of death, which has not yet been determined, is being investigated by the Orange County coroner. The report said, quote, if it's determined there may be a correlation to the vaccine, we'll immediately notify the OC Healthcare Agency. Carrie Braun, a spokeswoman for the coroner's office, told the newspaper. California's Health and Human Services Agency is also investigating state deaths possibly linked to the vaccine.
They just really don't want to admit that
don't want to admit it. Nobody wants to admit it.
And the Health and Human Services Agency can say, oh, there's been some misappropriation of funds that we, that's why we can't do full research on whether or not the vaccine killed anybody.
Right.
All that corruption. Sorry, everybody. I mean, I think there's a pattern here. It seems like there's a lot of people, it's not a laughing matter, but that people dying. It's being documented. And because there's such people are heightened, their awareness is heightened in this era of PC, post-corona, where, the vaccine, the anti-vax conversation really took center stage in everybody's lives. And so it's even more interesting that we're continuing to see people pass away after receiving the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those. The next one here is a Chinese story, but I'm not going to even read the story. I'm just going to read the headline here.
Welcome to Chinese News.
This is from thetimes.co.uk. China aims to beat West in COVID vaccination race and establish a new world order. That's it. That's what it's about.
Oh, good.
They want to establish a new world order, according to thetimes.co.uk.
Okay. There we go. Well, next, coming from Fox5SanDiego.com, here it is, folks. Pregnant women should not take Moderna vaccine, HWO advises. Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine is not recommended for pregnant women, according to news released Tuesday from the World Health Organization. Quote, while pregnancy puts women at a higher risk of severe COVID-19, the use of this vaccine in pregnant women is currently not recommended unless they're at high risk of exposure, the release states. And so there you go, folks. Ever since the beginning of this vaccination thing, it's always been a question whether pregnant women should or should not get it. None of the vaccines have been tested on pregnant women. And yet... Well, so what does that mean? It means if you're pregnant and you get the vaccine, you are the test. You should not take that for granted. You are the test. And turns out here, HWO is finally getting on it, at least with the Moderna vaccine. I have not yet seen a solid statement from the WHO regarding the Pfizer vaccine. Have you?
I haven't, and there's probably some cha-ching involved there.
Mm-hmm.
At some level.
Always is. Always is. Okay. Yep. And lastly, Gons, coming from NBCSanDiego.com, unexpected string of allergic reactions causes delays at vaccination superstation near Petco Park. This is in San Diego. Let's see here. Allergic reactions in some Moderna vaccine recipients caused delays Wednesday at San Diego County's new vaccination superstation. Vaccination superstation near downtown's Petco Park, county health officials confirmed. Just after 11 a.m., NBC7 confirmed that some people waiting for their vaccines at the site at Tailgate Park were experiencing delays. Others said they had been turned away. NBC7 reached out to those running the station. A representative said the delay was about they keep talking about these delays. During the county's weekly COVID-19 briefing, they changed this article. Hold on. During the county's weekly COVID-19 briefing, Dr. Eric McDonald, director of epidemiology for the county, said vaccinations were slowed down after allergic reactions were detected in 6 vaccine recipients. While allergic reactions are expected in mass vaccination operations, that amount seen Wednesday was slightly higher than expected for that time period. So the superstation slowed down vaccinations so they could investigate. They also slowed down vaccinations so they wouldn't get as many negative allergic reactions in the time period. Notice how they were talking about the time period. Yeah. That amount seen Wednesday was slightly higher than expected for that time period. So they slowed down vaccinations so they could spread out the allergic reactions a little bit. So when the numbers, statistics, it's a great way to lie. The site also swapped the vaccines it was using for a new batch out of an abundance of caution, in case the reactions had to do with the original batch. A county spokesperson confirmed the vaccines associated with the allergic reactions were from Moderna. Oof, Moderna is not looking good. A lot of negative press with the Moderna vaccine, one of 2 pharmaceutical companies with FDA-approved COVID-19 vaccines. There you go. Let's see if there's any other important details. I do not think so. All right, so there you have it, folks. It continues to be a shaky situation regarding the COVID-19 vaccine, specifically Moderna. If you own stock in Moderna, consider that. Make sure you sell on your Robinhood app. Maybe it's blocked. You can't sell.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no. All right. Anything else, Guns?
No, not on that, but I do have a quick CRISPR story.
CRISPR. Cas9.
And this is the news.illinois.edu genome editing tool Talon outperforms CRISPR-Cas9 in tightly packed DNA. So CRISPR-Cas9 has a new, foe, maybe? Researchers used single molecule imaging to compare the genome editing tool CRISPR-Cas9 and Talon. I think we've talked about Talon before. Their experiments reveal that Talon is up to 5 times more efficient than CRISPR-Cas9 in parts of the genome, called heterochromatin, that are densely packed. Fragile X syndrome, sickle cell anemia, beta thalassemia, and other diseases are the result of genetic defects in the heterochromatin. Researchers report their finding in the journal Nature Communication. So, just to keep it short and brief, Talon may be a replacement for CRISPR.
Uh-oh.
And the name, too, Talon. Like the claws of a...
Much more hardcore sounding.
Yeah. So, look out for those pterodactyls. Last thing here. Last but not least, we have a Nephilim update.
Woo!
Which I'm having trouble finding the jingle. I must be tired.
Yeah.
I was up very early today.
Long week, man.
Yeah.
Nephilim update.
This is the VanderbiltHustler.com.
Cool.
Yeah. The headline reads, "The gods, lowercase g, are human too in Immortals Phoenix Rising." And Phoenix is spelled F-E-N-Y-X, so as not to trigger the people researching. With intuitive gameplay and narrative prowess, Ubisoft's latest open-world game tells the daunting story of a mortal man destined to save the gods from the wrath of a titan.
Whoa.
In the end, they're more alike than it seems. Sympathy for the devil here. But are you going to be playing this game here, this Immortals?
Nah, probably not.
Yeah, you don't like the way it looks?
Well, speaking of video games and the Nephilim update, you remember bringing a Nephilim update from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
I have been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla recently.
Nice.
It's a great game, as Assassin's Creed always has. Very, 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 very negative towards Christianity.
Like openly.
Yeah, openly hostile towards Christianity. Basically, all the all the Assassin's Creed games, they just portray Christianity in the worst possible light. Now, they all happen in the ancient world, like during the Crusades, and it's all happens before Protestantism, and it's very focused on the Catholic Church. But of course, it's they're not very kind to Christians in those games. But there was a Nephilim update where you found a little note in a sort of a Stonehenge pagan circle.
Oh, right.
That mentioned the Nephilim. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Yeah. Well, I found it and I read the note.
Oh, what does it say?
Exactly what you said it said on the Nephilim update.
Oh,
just
okay.
talking about Nephilim. It's not really a big part of the game, but it's there.
This is deep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I have for the show.
Cool. I didn't hear Nephilim in that. Oh,
it's the Titans.
And
okay. There's a lot of references there. There's not the word Nephilim, but I thought it was with the Prometheus and Zeus, and it's pretty much the Nephilim. They don't explicitly say Nephilim, but close enough.
Okay.
I bend the rules. I'm allowed to bend the rules.
That's true. You make the game, you can bend the rules. All right. Well, there we go. All done?
All done.
Okay. Well, folks, that is the last episode of Canary Cry News Talk of January. Wow, we made it through
crazy.
the whole, I almost said episode, but month is what I meant. And the next show will be on February 1st. That's Monday, February 1st. Now, remember, for those who like to watch live, we'll be changing the schedule. We're going to be trying our darndest to get started at about 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. We're switching to morning radio, everybody. Yeah. So there you go. So look out for the notification while you're eating your Wheaties, and put it on your calendar. Try to make it. I have a feeling it might develop into a much different crowd. Doing it it'll be good for the East Coasters. You can, if you're on the East Coast of the United States. On your lunch break. Yeah. Yes, just in time for your lunch break. But you California listeners, you're going to have to wake up early to listen live. So there you go. Make sure to put that on your calendars. 9:30-ish a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and bell button and all.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
9:30 is not that early for people, by the way. just to let you know.
It's pretty early, man.
It's early for you, but 9:30 for normal people, it's earlier than 2 p.m.
Well, I'll say this. Unless you have to go to a job at 9, I think people are sleeping in. If you don't have children or a job, I think you're still sleeping in. Okay. But anyways, whatever it is, 9:30, be there or else. And thank you to all of our producers of episode 293 of Canary Cry News Talk. Big thank you to producer Jamar, sister Samira, producer Saul, Geraldine, Jane Doe, Owleye Forge, and Rachel. Thank you guys so much for your financial support of the show. Couldn't do it without you. And thank you to all of our artists and our jingle makers. And of course, again, to Jade Bouncerson for the timestamps. And remember us for February 1st. First, you can get in, produce the first show of the month. February promises to be just as crazy as January. So we'll need help.
I will mention this. I am planning to do no simple sugars in the month of February. Just for health reasons. So you might get an extra grumpy Gons in the month of February.
That sent a wave of fear through me.
You chilled. I'm going to be yelling at you to be on time, that kind of thing.
Oh, no.
It's going to be.
The abuse continues, folks.
Yeah. Just for health reasons, just trying to, pull back the sugar a little bit. Not that,
are you just avoiding additives, sugar additives, or are you like going low carb?
Well, no, I'm going to have carb, but it's just simple sugars, So like, just, sugar in the coffee, stuff like that. Just pull back on all the any kind of sweets. I'm just going to go with the fruit.
Yeah. Okay.
Just trying to be a little healthier, because got to keep up with a 3-month-old and a 3-year-old, and just looking at my life and life expectancy.
Right. Pray for me, folks.
Pray for you.
It's gonna be grumpy. Okay. Well, there you go. And we'll both be grumpy because it'll be early in the morning and you won't have your daily sugar packets. Where was I? Oh, yes. Yeah, please consider becoming a producer for the first show of February. If you've been wondering if producing the show is for you, pray about it. And this would be a great time to jump on board. You can do that by heading to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support. Again, there's monthly options, or if commitment's not your thing, come in at a one-time producership. Thank you so much. You can also produce the show with your time or your talent, create jingles or art or music. Stick around for the end of the show. We'll have the Canary Cry mixtape. And so you can send all of that fun stuff to canarycryradio@protonmail.com or canarycryradio@gmail.com, depending on your preferred level of surveillance. Okay, and you can also support the show by spreading the word. Posting it on your social media is a great way to start, but y'all got friends and family who are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And just like producer Samira and her brother Jamar, you can help your friends and family wake up. And we would love to be a part of that journey of theirs and yours. So consider sending an episode to them. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's last show. Maybe it's next show. Who knows? But go ahead and rattle some cages. And if you need any other instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him. You grab him by the cage and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Ask Noah. All right, Gons, any last words?
Nope. Other than prepare Basil for the grumpiest Gons you will ever experience in your life.
That's right. I'm ready. I'm ready. Been training for this.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Make sure to be back here on February 1st. That's Monday. Somewhere around 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeesh. And thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Look it up.
Blockchain.
You can't handle the truth. Stop this progress before it is too late.
That was nice.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
They are scum.
Burn it all.
This is deep.
It's going to be biblical.
It will kill. Everybody loves waffles.
He's a Satanist.
Everybody loves waffles.
He's a Satanist.
Called it.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
As they expose Babylon, there's a line drawn in the
a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody
magic mushrooms.
Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered. Just put me on some, I don't know.
Okay. You shot in the butt, fluoride, oxytocin, get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all away.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way.
Left wing, right wing, 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 left wing, right wing.
Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Same bird.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politician. Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. 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 Don't let them drain you all the way.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
Robot girls, all together, it's an image. 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 It might seem scary, so frightening. Get ready for it. Don't
started.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Something I ain't got all day. Get on my YouTube, debates like the sun. See what's new, demonetization. Know what's this? To my surprise, I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? Couldn't it read? Cry radio, news talk, radio, news talk.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
This is the way.
zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen.